Hello and welcome back to the Alteryx Weekly Challenge. Me, Nick Bignell. This is challenge number 91, something about getting into the weeds. So we are looking at some survey data on weeds by the road, by the looks of it, and we've got to create an application that allows people to interrogate the data. I think basically. So if we have a look at the start file, what we have here are three input files, and then the outputs are these two charts. So we would need to be able to create an app that allows users to output data in two ways. Okay, so search the data by route number. This is what this 036B is, and output a bar chart with the years on it, or search the data by the weed. These weeds like Canada thistle and chicory. Chicory a weed? Okay. And then we build segments of the corresponding weed coverage. So looks like basically a table by the road, and then just a table of the percentage coverage. So in here we've got looks like a name and a date when it was collected. Here we have the route, so that's pretty useful. We then have primary W, that must be the weed. Yeah, Canada thistle's in there. Then we have the percentage, that judging by this. Yeah, that's the percentage, the weed cover. So that's the percentage cover. And then, oh, we've got secondary weed cover and a percentage, but that's different in terms of. So are we looking for primary, or are we looking for just secondary? Okay, so we'll have to do something with that. And then what else have we got in here? Zones, road type, spatial object line. Okay, so I think what we need to do is bring all this data together. We're going to have to do something with this percentage. That's a bit strange because it has not got the same. I don't think we're looking at this. Isn't looking at that secondary one. It's the primary one. I think it's looking at, because we've got no tens. So this Scotch thistle, for example, we haven't got. I wonder if it's in here. The Canada thistle, 20%. There's no just 20% in there. Okay, so I think it's just the primary one that we need to worry about. And then, yeah, so then we can build it out. So first of all, we've got these three, and we've got this big thing in the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to union them all together, and then I'm going to let's right-click, view possible connections. Now we want the input of the union, and we want to connect it to all of those, and we'll make it wireless so we don't have the lines going across the page. And now we've got it connected to all three inputs. Okay, so let's just run that and just check that union works, i.e. all the fields sort of match up. We haven't got any additional. Looks like we've got a couple of additional fields. We list shape style. I don't think that matters. And then okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. We want the date, don't we? Well, we've got a date here, but these have got in here. We've got the year. So let's just go in here, and what we can do is change this to bring in the file name as well, because it's in the file name. So rather than messing around with the date to get the year, what we can do is pull the date from the file name. So if we just split that, and what we can do is go down and file name. So it's noxious underscore weeds underscore the year. So if we do underscore, okay, on the file name, 3 columns, what will end up there is a column right at the end that has, yeah, has the year in it. There we go. file name 3 is the year. Okay, so let's clean up this. We only need a bit of this data. We don't need all of it. Judging by these tables, we obviously need the weed, the year, and the root, and the percentage coverage. Okay, so let's just pick out. So we don't. Let's just deselect everything. Okay, so we need the root. We need the primary weed. We need the file name, which is year. I can rename that year. I think if we call this weed, and what was the other thing we needed? The percentage cover. So that is a primary weed cover. So we'll call this one weed. Do we need to? I think we'll just, yeah, well, we actually, because we don't need to label it anywhere, we can leave it as a PW cover. We'll need to change it though, because this is absolute numbers, and what we have in here is, if I can, is like 0-20. So we'll need to split that as well, but we can do that. We only need that for this part. So we're going to have to create two routes for this workflow. One if you select the root, and one if you select the weed. So in developer, we're going to bring in a detour. And that allows us to then be able to select the right side or the left side. We'll keep it on the left side and work out the root basis. So what we need to do first, I think, is bring in this weed percentage. So we can do that by doing another split on the weed cover, and it was a dash. Now what we can do, thinking about it, actually do we want to split on the weed? Because not all of it will be there, will it? Or will it? They all have a dash? Looks like they all have a dash. Let's do that then. And then run that. Yeah, so we've got this weed top is the highest thing on there. Okay, so we can then select out, and then we can, yeah, we'll leave that for now. So from that, we then, can we just start creating the chart? From this, do we need to, I mean, we've got duplicates here. Like for example, this and this is exactly is a duplicate. So do we want to just summarize and then take the max coverage per root? Yeah, because this one here has got 20%, and it's the same weed here with 40% in the same year. Okay, so we need to summarize it to get the max. So if we take the root, group by the weed, group by the weed, we need the year, group by, and we need this percentage coverage. So we're going to take the max, and what we're going to do is rename this to be weed coverage per percent. Okay, as it says on the side here. Okay, so that will give us the fields we need for the chart. He says, does that actually run? There we are. So yeah, so for this one we've got Canada Thistle, all 3 years, 40%. Yeah, so in here, the first one, the red line is 40, 40, and 40. So yeah, that looks like it's right. Okay, so now let's go into the reporting area and build a chart. So you do this by bringing this in, and now they've got this configure chart, so it's kind of automating the chart building process. It starts up this, and we then need to add a layer. So we're looking for a bar chart, first of all. We then want the X column is going to be the year to start with because there's yep. So we got each of the years, and then we want to take the weed percentage. Is that right on the y axis? So yeah. So I think well if you transform that and split it, we enable split and then we split by weed. Do we then get this? That's not quite right. Let's go back to the layer. Was it that orient? It's not the over orientation, is it? No, that's not right at all. So do we need any different? Oh, you know what? We haven't. The issue is we've not filtered on a specific route. Okay, so let's go back to the workflow. We need to filter on a specific route. Okay, so let's bring in a filter. Move that along a bit. Okay, and then we'll do. It's a bit strange. Okay, let's run that so we get all the fields in. Okay, so in filter we want to bring in the route and we'll do, what was it, equals 036b. Let's go with the one that's on the thing so we can now run that and see what the chart looks like. So we can configure the chart again and go in. It sets up, that's more like it. Okay, right. So yeah, Canada thistle, it's different colors, but there it is, 40%. Okay, so that's basically the chart. It looks slightly different because I've got a newer version of Alteryx, but it's basically the same thing with a legend and the bars in the right place. So that's good. So we now have our chart. Now we need the title across, for the top. So let's have a think how we can do that. So if we want to take the route after we filtered it, we just want the route. So we can do that by just grouping on the route because it'll only be one, and that will give us one field with route. Okay, now we can add some text. And so if we put that in there, what we can do is we can call it text, and then we want to call it, what do they call it here? Weeds on route. Weeds on route, and then we'll add the field route. Okay, so we'll have, that should then give us that. Let's then get rid of the route field we don't need. We just want the text field. And let's have a look here. Yeah, it's just one field here. So let's union the two together. And then if we use a layout tool, we can then individual record, text and chart. So if we just bring in a browse and see what that looks like, it should, as it looks for it, and okay, so then that's there, and then but we've got the title at the bottom. Okay, let's just go back to this because I think we want to make it in the middle, and we'll make it bold, but we've got it at the bottom. So I think if we go in here, we can set it to be in that order on the union. That should switch it, I think. So if we render now, yeah, okay. So if we make this a bit wider so we can see, so we've got the root, the title at the top, and then the table. So that's good. It's okay. So let's now look at the other right side of this detour. So a similar thing here, we want to filter on the, let's give ourselves lots of room because we're going to have to put some interface things on these to create an app that people can actually interface with. So let's filter on Canada thistle. Okay. Okay, then we want to, what have we got now with that data? Because I've not clicked on the detour thing to make it go down the right side. Okay, so that then gives us the Canada thistle data, and we've got this, but again we've got the same route, same weed, same year, but different actual record. So we're going to have to do a similar thing here where we summarize it. So we want the root, we want the weed, we want the year, and then we want the max percentage cover. Again, we don't need to rename that because it's not actually on the chart. So if we look here, that field's name's not on it, but we've got the year across the top, and then we want to transpose it. So let's transpose it. So we want to go from there to there because we've got data that's let's just run it so we can see it. We've got data that's in a long line for each year. Where is it? There it is. Right. So so we want to move that as across the top and have that for each year. So we want to keep the root and the weed, and then we want to take the, we might need to sort it. Hold on, to make it give us the max. Yeah, let's sort it first. Where's the sort? There's the sort. Because we want the highest thing. So we want the root ascending first. We want the weed. Then we want the year. And that will put it all in the right order. And then if we put the max there and we make that descending. Okay. And then we can take the first in here. We can take the first of each year. So we want the headers to be the year and the values to be the percentage cover, and we want to take the first one. Okay, that should give us the format, yeah, of the tables. If we look over here, we've got the root, then well, the weeds in there, but we can remove that. But then each one. But this is 2012, 2013, 2014, so we'll need to add in coverage. So let's go to the let's have a look. We want to go into developer and bring in dynamic rename. And on these three, what we can do is take current field, and then all we need to do is plus, we want to then write in space coverage. Okay, that should then run that, give us the right titles. Yep, so we've got coverage, and now we can build a table. So if we go back to the reporting, there we are, we can build a table, and this should be, so we don't need the weed in there, but that's basically the table that we want. Don't think we need to do anything other than that. And then, but we do need to create a title for it in a similar way that we did for this. So if we bring in a summarize, probably, yeah, it doesn't matter where it is. Here will do, and we just group by. And then we, similar again, some text. And this time it's coverage of, so coverage of, and then we can bring in the field, weed, Let's make the whole thing bold and in the middle. Okay, and then we need to union it again. Oh, well, let's select out just the fields we need from here, like we did above. So we don't need the weed, we just need the text now. Union it in. That one first and that one second. And then if we go on here, let's set it so it is that one first and that one second. Then we need a layout again. And it's individual record. And then what one, let's just bring in a browse tool so we can have a look at what it looks like. And it should be nearly there with the actual workflow. Let's have a look. This is, yeah, there we go. So we've got all the routes for Canadian thistle with the coverage. Nice. Nice. Okay, so then we can, we can do things like render it out. So let's do that as a HTML so we get it in a nice format. Do the same thing down here. Okay, so whichever way we go. So now we need to work out the app and we need to work this detour out. So the way you do that is with these, obviously with these interfaces, we've got to create an app. Now, one thing we can do is the default is it will go down the left. So actually you can create a radial button that kind of simulates the default. So select, what do you want to call it? Select route. And then we've got this one, which is select weed. Okay, right. And then we only need an action on that one. And then we want it to update the detour, it's defaulted to it on the basis of that. Then we want, what I'm thinking is that we just create a drop down for each of these. So we create a drop down. Actually, what we need to work out is all of the possible, how can I stick this out of the way? Stick it there. What we want to do is work out all the possible routes and then we can put that into this drop down. So if we just group by the route, run that. Oh, we need to change this. Run that. That will give us all the possible routes. Okay, so let's copy selected without. Well, could have done it that way. Copy all records without header. Go in here. So if we select manual and then just paste, I'm sure there's a way you can just dynamically add it in, but just in terms of working that out, I thought this would be quicker. And then drop down. So we want to be choose route. Okay, and then we want to create an action which don't connect to there. Right, come on. Right, so let's just do that to there and then that to there. Okay, so and to get this to update, we go into the simple operands and then we want to actually change the value. Okay, right, so that should do that. And then similarly down here, so if we change the route the right way, we do another summarize on, just put it over here, on the weed group by. What I'll do is give us a list for that and we can then build out that as well. All records without headers. And then in the interface we can bring in a drop down. Where is the drop down? I've lost the drop down. There's the drop down. Let's put that there. And then we can change it to manual, paste them in. and then choose weed. Okay, and then we want an action again for that. Again, we want to find the value. Is the value operand value? Okay, is that what I had on here? No, on here. Operand value. Yep. Okay, so that's then giving us the ability to switch down to each one. So let's have. So when we click on the link, we've got the route, so we can select a route. And if we run that, what we should get, so as it mouse through, we can then OK that. That then opens our chart. Okay, that's a bit skew-whiffed, but you get the idea. So we've got the title and we've got the chart. Okay, so if we go back to here and we select weed, and let's choose a different weed, and then finish on that, and open again. There you go. Got the route and this particular weed and the coverage for each year. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.